The alarm bells rang through the bridge of the Starseeker as Captain Hyunwoo studied the readings on his screen. Something big was floating in space near the Outer Rim territories, and it was not supposed to be there. The object was massive, dark, and completely silent. "What do you think it is?" asked So-Young, the ship's xenoarchaeologist. She pushed her glasses up her nose and leaned closer to look at the data. Her fingers moved quickly across her tablet as she tried to make sense of what they were seeing. "I don't know," Hyunwoo replied honestly. "But we need to find out. Kite, can you get us a better view?" The engineer Kite worked at his station, his hands dancing over the controls. The main screen flickered, and then showed a clearer image of the mysterious object. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go quiet. It was a ship, but not like any ship they had seen before. The hull was dark gray and covered with strange markings. Parts of it looked damaged, as if it had been floating in space for a very long time. The design was simple compared to modern ships, with thick metal plates and basic-looking weapons that seemed almost primitive. "How old do you think it is?" Hyunwoo asked So-Young. She studied the ship carefully, taking notes on her tablet. "The metal looks ancient, maybe thousands of years old. But there's something strange about it. These energy readings don't match anything I've seen from old civilizations." Kite frowned at his instruments. "Captain, the ship is giving off very low-energy signals, almost like it's sleeping, but not completely dead. There's definitely some kind of power source inside." "Any life signs?" Hyunwoo wanted to know. "None that I can detect," Kite replied. "But the hull is thick. Our sensors might not be able to see inside properly." So Young moved to another console and began running more detailed scans. "The construction methods are interesting. This doesn't look like any known alien technology, but it's not quite like modern human ships either. The design is too old, too simple." "Could it be from one of the lost human colonies?" Hyunwoo asked. "The ones that disappeared thousands of years ago?" "Maybe," So-Young said slowly. "But if it is, they built ships very differently back then. This looks like it was made for war, not exploration or trade." The bridge crew continued their analysis for the next hour. The ship was definitely ancient, but there were puzzling things about it. The metals used in construction were unusual. Some of them didn't match anything in their databases. The energy readings were faint but steady, suggesting that whatever power source the ship had was still working after thousands of years. "I'm sending a report to the Galactic Council," Hyunwoo announced. "They need to know about this discovery." Kite looked up from his station. "Captain, should we try to board the ship? We might learn more by going inside." "Not yet," Hyunwoo decided. "We need to follow proper procedures. The council will want to send a full investigation team." So-Young was still studying the scans when she noticed something that made her heart beat faster. "Captain, look at this. There are markings on the hull that look like writing. I can't read most of it, but some symbols look familiar. They might be from an old human language." "Are you sure?" Hyunwoo moved to look over her shoulder. "Not completely sure, but the patterns are similar to ancient Earth writing systems. If this really is a human ship, it's much older than any we've found before." The next few hours passed quickly, as the crew of the Starseeker gathered as much information as they could about the mysterious ship. They took thousands of photographs and measurements. So-Young worked to decode the strange markings, while Kite tried to understand the ship's construction and power systems. "There's definitely advanced technology here," Kite reported. "But it's hidden. The outside looks simple, but my deep scans show complex systems inside the hull. It's like the ship was built to look primitive on purpose." "Why would anyone do that?" Hyunwoo wondered. "Maybe to hide from enemies," So-Young suggested, "or to make other species think they weren't a threat." As the day continued, more strange details emerged. The ship's weapons, while they looked old and basic, were positioned in ways that suggested very advanced tactical thinking. The armor plating was thicker than it needed to be for a ship of that time period. Most puzzling of all, the energy signatures were completely stable, as if the ship's power source never degraded. "I've never seen anything like this," Kaite admitted. "The technology is old, but also somehow more advanced than what we have now. It doesn't make sense." So Young had been working on translating the markings and finally had some success. "I think I can read part of this text. It says something about a last stand, and there's a word that might mean remember or memorial." "A memorial to what?" Hyunwoo asked. "I'm not sure yet. But there are references to Terra, which was the old name for Earth. This might be connected to the destruction of humanity's homeworld." The implications were staggering. If this ship was from the time when Earth was destroyed, it could contain information about what really happened. The official records were incomplete, and many details about Earth's final days had been lost to time. As the Starseeker continued its investigation, Hyunwoo prepared his report for the Galactic Council. He included all their findings, emphasizing the unusual nature of the ship and the potential historical importance of the discovery. "Do you think the Council will be interested?" So Young asked. "They should be," Hyunwoo replied. "This could be one of the most important archaeological discoveries in galactic history." But even as he sent the report, Hyunwoo had a feeling that the Council might not share his enthusiasm. The other species in the galaxy often looked down on humans as the newest and least advanced members of galactic civilization. They might see an old human ship as just another piece of space junk. Kite was still running scans when he noticed something new. "Captain, the ship's energy levels just increased slightly. It's still very low, but something changed." "Could our scans have triggered something?" Hyunwoo asked. "Maybe, or maybe the ship is programmed to respond to other human ships being nearby." So Young looked up from her translation work with excitement. "I found something else. There's text here that mentions the children of Earth returning. This ship might have been waiting for us." The crew of the Starseeker looked at each other with a mixture of excitement and worry. If the ship had been waiting for humans to find it, that suggested it had some kind of intelligence or programming that was still active. But what did it want? And why had it been hiding in the outer rim for so long? As they waited for the Council's response to their report, none of them could have imagined how drastically their discovery would change everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the galaxy. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was held in the massive dome chamber of Nexus Prime Station. Representatives from dozens of species filled the circular seating areas, their various forms creating a rainbow of colors and shapes under the bright lights. At the center of it all sat Chairman Zephyrios, his tall blue form commanding attention as he called the session to order. Captain Hyunwoo stood at the presentation podium, feeling small among the towering aliens around him. Beside him, So Young held her data tablet nervously, while Kaite checked the holographic display equipment one more time. They had been summoned to present their findings about the ancient ship to the Council's leaders. "Honorable representatives," Hyunwoo began, "we have discovered what appears to be an ancient human vessel in the Outer Rim territories. Our initial analysis suggests it may be thousands of years old and could contain important historical information." The reaction was immediate and not encouraging. Several alien representatives began talking among themselves, their voices creating a buzz of dismissive chatter. Admiral Velthar, a massive creature with gray skin and 4 arms, leaned forward in of his seat. "Another piece of human junk floating in space," Velthar said loudly. "Why are we wasting the Council's time with this?" From the Sectar delegation came actual laughter. Their reptilian forms shook with amusement as their leader, Ambassador Sectar Prime, spoke up. "The humans think their old garbage is worth our attention. How amusing." So Young stepped forward, trying to keep her voice steady. "Respected council members, this ship shows unusual technological characteristics. The energy readings don't match known ancient technology patterns. Everything is unusual to humans. interrupted Counselor Vorani Crystal Voice from the crystalline species delegation. Her body sparkled as she spoke, creating rainbow patterns in the air. Your species has only been in space for a few thousand years. You lack the experience to properly evaluate ancient technology. Kite activated the holographic display, showing detailed scans of the mysterious ship. The construction methods are actually quite sophisticated. The power source has remained stable for millennia, which shouldn't be possible with primitive technology. Primitive is the correct word, Admiral Velthar agreed. Look at those crude weapons, those thick metal plates. It's exactly what we would expect from early human engineering. Functional, but completely unsophisticated. Chairman Zephyrios raised one of his 6 hands for silence. What exactly are you asking the council to do about this discovery? Hyun Woo took a deep breath. We request permission to conduct a full archaeological investigation. This ship could provide valuable insights into early human space exploration and the lost colony period. The chamber erupted in more dismissive chatter. Several representatives were openly laughing now, while others shook their heads in apparent disbelief. The humans want us to fund their family history project, sneered Velthar. This is not a matter for the council. Ambassador Sector Prime's reptilian features twisted into what might have been a smile. Perhaps we should put this human relic in a museum. Primitive starship construction, how not to build space vessels. Even more laughter followed this. Comment. So Young's face turned red with embarrassment and anger, but she forced herself to remain professional. The historical value alone justifies further study, she argued. This could be one of the oldest human ships ever discovered intact. Intact? Counselor Vorani's crystalline body flashed with what seemed like amusement. Our preliminary scans show extensive damage and outdated systems. This ship is worthless except as scrap metal. Kite tried a different approach. The metal composition includes elements that are difficult to obtain. Even as scrap, it has commercial value. Now the humans speak sense, Admiral Velthar declared. Salvage the useful materials and dispose of the rest. At least then this discovery won't be a complete waste of time. Chairman Zephyrios nodded slowly. The council agrees. The ship will be processed for scrap metal recovery. Any materials of value will be distributed according to standard salvage protocols. Wait, Hyunwoo said urgently. We haven't completed our analysis. There might be important historical records aboard that ship. Historical records of a dead civilization that achieved nothing significant, Velthar replied dismissively. Earth was destroyed because humans couldn't defend themselves properly. What could we possibly learn from their failures? The words hit the human delegation like physical blows. References to Earth's destruction were always painful, but hearing it described as a failure stung deeply. So Young found her voice again. Our ancestors did their best with the technology they had. They saved millions of lives by evacuating before the planet was destroyed, and then disappeared into space, never to be heard from again, Ambassador Sector Prime added mockingly. Very heroic, very effective. The lost colonies were brave pioneers, Kite insisted. They explored unknown regions of space to keep humanity alive. And accomplished what? Counselor Vorani asked. Where are their great achievements? Where are their technological contributions to galactic civilization? All we see is the wreckage of their primitive efforts. Chairman Zephyrios gestured for attention. The decision is made. Salvage crews will begin processing the vessel immediately. Captain Hyunwoo, your ship will escort the salvage operation to ensure it proceeds safely. Hyunwoo felt his heart sink. Honorable Chairman, we formally request additional time for archaeological documentation before salvage begins. Request denied, Zephyrios replied firmly. The Council's time and resources are too valuable to waste on human nostalgia. As the meeting ended and the alien representatives began filing out, Hyunwoo could hear their continued comments about the discovery. Typical human sentimentality. one voice said. They're always trying to make their history seem more important than it really is, added another. At least the scrap metal will be useful for something, came a third comment, followed by more laughter. The human delegation stood alone in the emptying chamber, feeling humiliated and frustrated. Their important discovery had been dismissed as worthless junk, and their request for proper investigation had been rejected with contempt. They don't understand, So Young said quietly. That ship is special. I can feel it. They don't want to understand, Kite replied angrily. They've already decided that humans are inferior, so anything we find must be worthless too. Yanwu watched the last of the alien representatives leave the chamber. We'll escort the salvage operation, as ordered. But that doesn't mean we have to stop our own investigation. What do you mean? So Young asked. We'll continue studying the ship while the salvage crews work. If there really is something important aboard, we need to find it before they tear the ship apart. Kite nodded grimly. The Council may not respect human history, but we do. As they left Nexus Prime Station and returned to their ship, none of them realized that their seemingly worthless discovery was about to prove the alien leaders completely wrong about human capabilities. The ancient ship held secrets that would shock the entire galaxy and force every species to reconsider everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the cosmos. The salvage operation would begin soon, but it would not go as the Council expected. Despite the Council's orders to begin salvage operations immediately, Hyunwoo decided his team needed more time to understand what they had found. While the official salvage crews prepared their equipment, he quietly authorized So Young and Kite to conduct deeper scans of the mysterious vessel. We have maybe 6 hours before the salvage team start cutting into the hull, Hyunwoo told them. If there's something important about this ship, we need to find it now. So Young and Kite worked frantically at their stations, pushing their scanning equipment to its limits. What they discovered in those crucial hours would have shocked the Council members who had dismissed their find so casually. These readings don't make sense, Kite muttered, staring at his instruments in confusion. The hull composition is showing elements that shouldn't exist together in nature. What do you mean? So Young asked, looking up from her own analysis of the ship's markings. Kite pointed at his screen. Look at this. The outer hull appears to be made of basic iron and titanium alloys, exactly what you'd expect from ancient human construction. But underneath, there are layers of materials I can't identify. Some of these metals have properties that are impossible according to our current understanding of physics. So Young frowned and moved to check his readings. Are you sure your equipment is working correctly? I've run the scans 5 times. The results are consistent. This ship has hull plating that's somehow both thousands of years old and more advanced than anything the Galactic Council has today. Meanwhile, So Young had been making progress with the ancient writing systems carved into the ship's exterior. Using enhanced imaging techniques, she could now see markings that hadn't been visible during their initial survey. Kite, look at this, she called excitedly. I found more text, and I think I can translate some of it. The markings were carved deep into the metal, as if whoever made them wanted to ensure they would survive for thousands of years. So Young had spent her career studying ancient languages, but these symbols were unlike anything in her databases. The writing style is definitely from an old human dialect, she explained. But it's older than any Earth language I know. Some of these characters look Korean, others look Chinese, and some are completely unknown to me. What does it say? Kite asked. So Young worked carefully, using her tablet to compare symbols and construct meaning. The first part is clearest. It says something like last stand of the... And then there's a word I can't translate, but then it says, remember Terra very clearly. Terra was the old name for Earth, Kite said. So this ship is definitely connected to humanity's home world. There's more, So Young continued. Lower down, there's a phrase that might mean sleeping guardian or waiting protector, and here at the bottom, it says, for the children who will return. Kite felt a chill run down his spine. Children who will return? That could mean us. The humans who survived Earth's destruction and spread across the galaxy. But how could they know we would find this ship? How could they know we would return? Before Kaite could answer, his instruments began showing new readings that made him forget all about the translation mystery. So young, the ship's power core just activated, he said urgently. Energy levels are increasing rapidly. Did we trigger something? She asked worriedly. I don't think so. We've been scanning for hours without any response. This seems to be happening on its own. As they watched, the power levels continued to climb. But instead of the chaotic energy patterns they expected from an ancient, damaged system, the readings showed perfectly controlled and stable power generation. This is impossible, Kite breathed. The power output is more organized than our own ship's systems. Whatever technology this vessel uses, it's not primitive at all. So Young returned to her translation work with new urgency. If the ship was powering up, she needed to understand what the ancient messages were trying to tell them. I found something else, she announced. There's text near what looks like an airlock. It says, wait, this can't be right. What does it say? It appears to say identity confirmed. Welcome home. But that's written in modern Korean, not the ancient dialect. How is that possible? Kite's instruments chose that moment to detect something that made both of them freeze in shock. So Young, there are definitely complex systems inside this ship that are still functioning. I'm detecting computer networks, environmental controls, and what looks like artificial intelligence processing centers. Artificial intelligence, from thousands of years ago. Not just any AI. The processing power I'm detecting exceeds anything in current Galactic Council technology. This ship has a computer system more advanced than Nexus Prime Station. So Young stared at her translation work with new understanding. The ship knows we're here. It's been watching us, scanning us, maybe even listening to our conversations. If that's true, then it knows we're human. It knows we're descendants of the people who built it. As if responding to their conversation, new text began appearing on So Young's scanner displays. The ship was somehow projecting additional messages onto their equipment. Kitai, are you seeing this? So Young asked in amazement, words imperfect. Modern Korean were flowing across her tablet screen. Greetings, children of Earth. I have waited long for your return. I am Hanul, guardian of this vessel Taeguk's revenge. You are in danger. The ones who destroyed Terra still hunt your kind. Both. Humans stared at the message in stunned silence. Not only was the ship intelligent, but it was warning them about threats they didn't even know existed. More text appeared. The salvage crews approaching this vessel must be stopped. If they damage my systems, I cannot protect you from what is coming. What's coming? So Young typed into her tablet, hoping the ship could somehow receive her response. The enemy that destroyed Terra returns to this galaxy. They have been searching for human survivors. Your discovery of this vessel may have revealed your location to them. Prepare for contact in 3 standard hours. Kitai's face had gone pale. So Young, we need to contact Captain Hyunwoo immediately. If this ship is telling the truth, the entire council is in danger. But even as they prepared to alert their captain, both humans wondered if anyone would believe them. The council had already dismissed their discovery as worthless human junk. How could they convince the alien leaders that this ancient vessel contained technology and intelligence far beyond anything in the galaxy? And more importantly, if the ship was right about an approaching enemy, would the council's arrogance prevent them from taking the threat seriously until it was too late? As alarms began sounding on their instruments, indicating that the salvage crews were beginning their approach to the mysterious vessel, So Young and Kite realized they were about to witness something that would change galactic history forever. The salvage crews had been working for less than an hour when everything went wrong. Captain Hyunwoo watched from the bridge of the Star Seeker as 3 heavy salvage ships positioned themselves around the ancient vessel. Their massive cutting tools were designed to slice through the strongest hull materials known to galactic science. Beginning hull breach on Section 7, reported the lead salvage ship captain over the communication system. Initial cuts proceeding normally. Kite monitored the operation from his station, still worried about the warnings they had received from the ship's AI. Captain, I still think we should delay this operation until we understand more about the vessel. The Council's orders were clear, Hyun-woo replied reluctantly, but keep monitoring everything. If something goes wrong, I want to know immediately. The first cutting beam struck the ancient ship's hull, sending sparks flying into space. For a moment, everything seemed normal. The old metal began to separate under the intense heat, exactly as the salvage crews expected. Then the entire universe seemed to change. A wave of energy erupted from the ancient vessel, washing over all the ships in the area. The cutting beam stopped working instantly, as if something had simply turned it off. Emergency alarms began sounding on every ship as their instruments went wild. What just happened? Hyun-woo demanded. Before anyone could answer, the ancient ship began to transform before their eyes. Hull plates that had looked damaged and primitive suddenly shifted and rearranged themselves. Hidden weapon ports opened along the vessel's sides. Energy shields flickered to life, creating a shimmering barrier around the entire ship. "Captain!" Kite shouted. "The vessel's power output just increased by 10,000%. It's showing energy levels that should be impossible for a ship that size." So, Young stared at her instruments in amazement. "The AI is trying to communicate with us. It's sending messages on multiple frequencies." "Put it through the main speakers," Hyun-woo ordered. A calm, melodic voice filled the bridge, speaking in perfect Korean. "Greetings, Starseeker. I am Hanul, Guardian Intelligence of the vessel Taguk's Revenge. Please cease your salvage operations immediately. This vessel is not derelict." The communication channel erupted with panicked voices from the salvage crews. "Our cutting tools aren't working. Something's wrong with our engines. The target vessel is powering up weapons." Hyun-woo grabbed his communication microphone. "This is Captain Hyun-woo of the Star Seeker. All salvage operations are suspended immediately. Return to safe distance." But the salvage ships were having problems. Their engines had stopped responding properly and their navigation systems were showing error messages. They were trapped near the ancient vessel, unable to move away. "Do not be afraid," Hanul's voice continued. "I have temporarily disabled your vessel's systems to prevent damage to my hull. No harm will come to your crews if you cease aggressive actions." "Aggressive actions?" Hyun-woo said into his microphone. "We were following Galactic Council orders to salvage this vessel." "The Galactic Council does not have authority over this ship," Hanul replied. "I am a guardian vessel of the Terra Defense Fleet. My mission is to protect the children of Earth and preserve human knowledge for future generations." So Young leaned forward excitedly. "Hanul, this is So Young, xenoarchaeologist aboard the Starseeker. Are you saying this ship is from the original Earth Defense Forces?" "Correct. I was launched from Terra's orbital shipyards in the final days before the planet's destruction. My mission was to establish a hidden base in this region and wait for human survivors to rediscover this location." Kite's instruments were showing readings that made no sense. "Captain, this ship's technology is far beyond anything I've ever seen. The power generation alone exceeds our entire fleet's capabilities." "How is that possible?" Hyun-woo asked. Hanul seemed to hear his question. "Captain Hyun-woo, your people have been forced to rebuild human civilization from nothing. You have done well, but you lack the advanced technologies that Terra possessed before its destruction. This vessel contains the complete technical knowledge of humanity's greatest achievements." The implications were staggering. If this ship really contained the lost technologies of Earth, it could revolutionize human civilization and change their position in the Galactic Council forever. "Can you prove your claims?" Hyun-woo asked. In response, the ancient vessel's weapons systems activated, but instead of threatening the nearby ships, they targeted empty space around them. Beams of energy lanced out with impossible precision, creating geometric patterns of light that lasted for several seconds before fading. My weapons can strike targets at ranges your current technology considers impossible, Hanul explained. My shields can deflect any attack the current Galactic Council species can produce. My engines can travel faster than any vessel in this region of space. The salvage crews were now frantically trying to restart their disabled systems. Their panic was clear in the radio communications flooding the emergency channels. Star Seeker, this is Salvage Leader 1. Our ships are completely dead. We need immediate assistance. Hyunwoo looked at his crew. Hanul, can you restore power to the salvage vessels? Their crews are in danger. Power will be restored when they reach safe distance from this vessel, Hanul replied. I am protecting them from weapon systems they triggered when they began, cutting into my hull. Weapon systems? So Young asked. This vessel was designed for war against the enemies of humanity. My defensive protocols activated automatically when hostile actions were detected. The salvage crew's cutting tools were interpreted as weapons fire. Kite was studying the energy patterns around the ancient ship. Captain, the technology this vessel is displaying is centuries ahead of anything the Council has. If other species learn about this, they will demand access to our technologies, Hanul completed his thought. This is why I have remained hidden for so long. Humanity was not ready to reveal its true capabilities. What do you mean, our true capabilities? Hyunwoo asked. The humans who fled Earth's destruction were not refugees running in panic, Hanul explained. They were carefully planned colonies carrying humanity's most advanced technologies to hidden locations throughout the galaxy. Many of those colonies survived and prospered, developing capabilities far beyond what the current Galactic Council possesses. So Young felt her heart racing. Are you saying there are other human colonies out there? Advanced ones that we don't know about? 17 major colonies and 43 minor outposts remain active in this galaxy. Most have been quietly watching the younger species develop while remaining hidden themselves. The bridge crew sat in stunned silence. Everything they thought they knew about humanity's position in the galaxy was wrong. They weren't the weak, newest members of galactic civilization. They were descendants of the galaxy's most advanced technological civilization. Why reveal yourself now? Hyunwoo asked. Because the enemy that destroyed Terra has returned to this region of space. The hidden colonies have detected their scout ships. Humanity's time of hiding is ending. You will need our help to survive what is coming. As if summoned by Hanul's words, new alarm signals began sounding across all the ships in the area. Long-range sensors were detecting unknown vessels approaching the system at high speed. Captain, Kite reported, his voice tight with worry. Multiple unidentified ships just entered the outer system. Their technology doesn't match any known Galactic Council species. Hanul's voice carried new urgency. The enemy scouts have found us. All human vessels must evacuate this area immediately. Contact your Galactic Council and warn them that their space is about to become a battlefield. The awakening of the ancient guardianship had revealed secrets that would change everything. But it had also announced humanity's presence to enemies who had been searching for them across the galaxy for thousands of years. As the unknown enemy ships approached the outer system, Hanul made a decision that would change galactic history forever. The ancient AI opened its databanks to Captain Hyunwoo and his crew, revealing secrets that humanity had kept hidden for thousands of years. Captain Hyunwoo, Hanul's voice resonated through the Star Seeker's bridge. I am granting you access to my archives. What you are about to learn will shock you, but you must understand the truth about your people's history. A holographic display materialized in the center of the bridge, showing star maps unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Hundreds of systems were marked with symbols indicating human colonies, trade routes, and defensive installations. This is impossible, Hyunwoo breathed. There are human settlements throughout the galaxy. Not settlements, Hanul corrected. Civilizations. Some of these colonies have populations in the billions. Others have developed technologies that surpass even what Terra achieved before its destruction. So Young stared at the display with amazement. But why don't we know about them? Why haven't they contacted the Galactic Council? Because they learned from Terra's mistake, Hanul explained. Earth was destroyed because it revealed its capabilities too openly. The enemy saw humanity as a threat and acted to eliminate that threat. The surviving colonies chose a different path. Kite was studying the technical specifications flowing across his screens. Captain, look at these ship designs. These are human vessels with capabilities that make our current fleet look like children's toys. The holographic display shifted to show images of massive human starships. These vessels were sleek and elegant, their hulls gleaming with advanced materials. Weapon systems that could devastate entire fleets were integrated seamlessly into their designs. The colony ship New Sol achieved faster-than-light travel speeds 3 times greater than current Galactic Council vessels, Hanul reported. The research station Kimchi-1 developed energy shields that can withstand direct hits from stellar-class weapons. The military base Hangang created weapons that can disable enemy fleets from across entire star systems. Kimchi-1, so young, laughed despite her shock. They named a research station after pickled vegetables? The colonists maintained their cultural heritage even as they developed advanced technologies, Hanul replied with what sounded like amusement. The colony New Busan is famous throughout human space for producing the galaxy's finest traditional Korean food, despite having technology that could terraform entire planets. Hyunwoo was trying to process the magnitude of what they were learning. If human colonies are so advanced, why do they remain hidden? Why let the other species think we're primitive? Protection and wisdom, Hanul answered. The colonies learned that openly displaying superior technology creates fear and hostility among less advanced species. Instead, they chose to guide and protect the younger civilizations quietly, preventing wars and disasters while remaining unseen. The display changed again, showing historical records that made the crew gasp in recognition. Images of galactic crises, natural disasters, and potential wars filled the screen, each one marked with discreet human intervention. The asteroid that threatened to destroy the Vorani homeworld was quietly redirected by human ships, Hanul revealed. The plague that nearly wiped out the sectar species was cured by human medical technology delivered through intermediary species to hide its origin. Kite's voice was barely a whisper. We've been protecting them. All this time, while they treated us like inferior newcomers, we've been protecting them. The Galactic Council exists because human colonies have been preventing conflicts behind the scenes. Hanul continued. Every major peace treaty, every successful negotiation, every avoided war has been quietly influenced by human diplomatic intervention. So Young was studying the cultural records with fascination. These colonies maintained Korean traditions after thousands of years. Cultural preservation was considered as important as technological advancement, Hanul explained. The colony, New Jeju, still celebrates Chuseok with traditional ceremonies, despite being located in a binary star system. The research station Soju Labs produces traditional Korean alcohol that is considered the finest in the galaxy, though they pretend it comes from minor alien traders. Soju Labs? Hyunwoo shook his head in amazement. Our ancestors really did love their cultural references. The mood became more serious as Hanul revealed information about humanity's true military capabilities. Each major colony maintains defensive fleets that could single-handedly protect the entire Galactic Council from external threats, the AI reported. The combined human military, if revealed, would be recognized as the most powerful force in known space. Then why hide? Hyunwoo asked. Why not take leadership of the galaxy openly? Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, Hanul quoted. The colonies chose to be guardians rather than rulers. They protect, without controlling, guide without commanding. Kite was reviewing technical specifications that made his head spin. The energy production methods these colonies use could solve the Council's resource shortages permanently. The terraforming technologies could create habitable worlds throughout. the galaxy. All of this knowledge will be shared when the time is right, Hanul promised. But first, humanity must reveal itself to face the enemy that is approaching. The display shifted to show the approaching hostile fleet in detail. The enemy ships were massive and angular, their designs radiating menace and destructive power. These are the Devourers, Hanul explained grimly. The same species that destroyed Terra. They consume worlds and civilizations, leaving nothing behind but empty space. They have been searching for human survivors for thousands of years. Why? So Young asked. Why do they hunt us specifically? Because humanity was the only species that successfully resisted them. During Terra's final battle, human technology proved capable of destroying Devourer ships. They cannot rest while any humans remain alive because we represent the only real threat to their expansion. Hyunwoo felt a chill of understanding. The colonies have been hiding not just to protect themselves but to protect everyone else. If the Devourers knew about the advanced human civilizations, they would return in full force to complete their extermination of humanity, Hanul confirmed. But now they have found this system. The time for hiding is over. The ancient AI began transmitting data packets to the Starseeker's computers. I am providing you with communication codes for the nearest hidden colonies. You must contact them immediately and warn them that the Devourers have returned. As the enemy fleet grew closer, more secrets were revealed. The colonies had been preparing for this day for thousands of years. Hidden weapons platforms were positioned throughout the galaxy. Secret alliances existed between human settlements and select alien species who knew the truth. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity never disappeared after Earth's destruction, Hanul announced. We evolved, we advanced, and we've been protecting everyone while remaining unseen. Now we must step out of the shadows to fight for the survival of all galactic civilization. So Young looked at the approaching enemy fleet with new understanding. This isn't just about revealing human technology. This is about revealing that we've been the galaxy's secret protectors all along. And that protection is about to be tested in the greatest battle since Terra's fall, Hanul replied. Contact the colonies. Contact the council. Tell them the guardians of humanity are awakening. The revelations had changed everything. Humanity wasn't the galaxy's youngest civilization. They were its oldest protectors, finally revealing themselves to face their greatest enemy. The Galactic Council's response to Hanul's warnings was swift and predictable. Within hours of receiving Hyunwoo's emergency transmission, Admiral Velthar arrived with the largest battle fleet the Council had assembled in decades. Dozens of warships from multiple species surrounded the ancient human vessel, their weapons trained on what they still believed was just an old piece of space junk. Attention, unidentified vessel, Admiral Velthar's voice boomed across the communication channels. You are in violation of Galactic Council salvage orders. Surrender immediately or face the consequences. Captain Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the Star Seeker, positioned between the Council fleet and Hanul's ship. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. Admiral Velthar, this is Captain Hyunwoo, he transmitted. The vessel you're threatening contains crucial information about an approaching enemy fleet. We should be working together, not fighting each other. The only enemy I see is an outdated human ship that refuses to follow orders, Velthar replied coldly. Stand aside, Captain. This situation has gone far beyond your authority. Beside the Admiral's massive flagship, Ambassador Sector Prime's reptilian battlecruisers moved into attack formation. Their weapons were already charging, creating visible energy patterns along their hulls. The humans have been playing games with us long enough, Sector Prime announced over the open channels. Their ancient scrap heap will be destroyed as an example to others who defy the Council. Hanul's calm voice cut through the hostile chatter. Admiral Velthar, I offer you one opportunity to witness a demonstration of this vessel's capabilities. You may choose to attack, or you may choose to learn. I recommend learning. Threats from a derelict ship, Velthar laughed. Your sensors show minimal power output and primitive weapons. Do you really think you can threaten a council battle fleet? I do not make threats, Hanul replied. I make offers. Observe. What happened next would be remembered in galactic history as the moment everything changed. The ancient ship seemed to shimmer for a moment, like heat waves rising from a hot surface. Then it simply disappeared from all sensors. Every ship in the fleet lost track of it completely, as if it had never existed. Where did it go? Velthar demanded. Before anyone could answer, the ancient vessel reappeared directly behind the Admiral's flagship, so close that their shields were almost touching. Every alarm on every ship in the fleet began screaming at once. Impossible, Kaite breathed from his station aboard the Starseeker. It moved faster than our sensors could track. But Hanul wasn't finished with the demonstration. The ship vanished again, this time reappearing in the middle of the council formation. Energy beams lanced out from its hidden weapon ports, striking every ship in the fleet simultaneously. But instead of destroying them, the beams did something far more humbling. Every weapon system in the council fleet simply stopped working. Every shield generator shut down. Every engine went offline. In less than 10 seconds, Hanul had rendered the entire council battle fleet completely helpless. Your vessels are undamaged, Hanul announced calmly. Your crews are safe. Your weapons, shields, and engines will be restored in exactly 1 hour, giving you time to consider what you have witnessed. The communication channels erupted in panic and confusion. How is this possible? Our entire fleet is dead in space. The human ship disabled us without firing. A shot! Admiral Velthar's voice was strained with shock and fury. What kind of weapon can disable our entire fleet without causing damage? The kind that your current technology cannot detect, understand, or defend against, Hanul replied. This vessel represents human engineering from Terra's golden age. You have been trying to salvage technology that exceeds your own by several thousand years. So Young was frantically analyzing the energy patterns Hanul had used. Captain, the precision required for that attack is beyond anything I thought was possible. The ship had to calculate the exact frequencies needed to disrupt each different type of alien technology simultaneously. Jae-min, the Starseeker's pilot, had been quietly monitoring the tactical situation. The movement speed alone should have torn that ship apart. Whatever drive system it's using operates on principles we don't understand. Now you begin to comprehend, Hanul continued. This vessel is not primitive. Your species are primitive. Compared to what humanity achieved before Terra's destruction, the demonstration wasn't over. Hanul began transmitting holographic images directly to every ship in the fleet, showing them the approaching Devourer vessels in real time. While you waste time with dominance displays, the real enemy approaches your space, Hanul announced. These vessels have destroyed hundreds of civilizations. They are 3 hours from reaching this system, and your current fleet could not survive 5 minutes against them. The images were terrifying. The Devourer ships were massive, their hulls covered with weapons that pulsed with dark energy. Scanner. Readings showed technology that was alien and hostile in ways the Council species had never encountered. What are those ships? Ambassador Sectar Prime asked, his usual arrogance replaced by worry. The species that destroyed Terra and countless other worlds, Hanul explained. They have been searching for human survivors for thousands of years. Today, they found us. Yunji, the Starseeker's communications officer, was monitoring multiple channels as panic spread through the Council fleet. Captain, I'm receiving emergency transmissions from Council space. Other systems are reporting similar unidentified vessels. The attack is beginning across multiple fronts, Hanul confirmed. This is not a minor incursion. This is a full-scale invasion. Admiral Velthar's voice had lost all its earlier confidence. If these Devourers are as dangerous as you claim, what can be done to stop them? Alone, nothing, Hanul replied. Your combined fleets cannot match their firepower, but you are not alone. The hidden colonies of humanity have been preparing for this day for thousands of years. New contacts began appearing on sensors throughout the system. Ships were arriving from hidden locations, emerging from what appeared to be empty space. These vessels made the Council fleet look primitive by comparison. "The guardians of humanity are revealing themselves," Hanul announced. "For the first time in thousands of years, human military technology will be displayed openly." The arriving human ships were beautiful and terrifying. Their hulls gleamed with advanced materials, and their weapon systems radiated power that made the Council vessels seem like toys. "This is New Soul Command to all vessels," came a transmission in Korean, translated for the Council fleet. "Guardian Fleet 1 is taking positions to defend this system. All non-human vessels should withdraw to safe distance." Admiral Velthar stared at the displays showing the human fleet. "How many of you are there?" "Enough," Hanul replied simply. "The question is whether you will accept human protection or whether your pride will prevent you from surviving what comes next." As the Devourer fleet drew closer and more human guardian ships arrived, the Council faced a choice that would determine the fate of galactic civilization. They could accept that humanity had been protecting them all along, or they could let their arrogance destroy them when the real enemy arrived. The test was over. Humanity had proven their superiority beyond question. Now came the hard part, working together to survive. As the Devourer fleet drew closer and more human guardian ships materialized throughout the system, Hanul made a decision that would change galactic civilization forever. The ancient AI opened communication channels to every inhabited world in Council space and began broadcasting a message that revealed humanity's greatest secret. "Citizens of the galaxy," Hanul's voice resonated across thousands of worlds in hundreds of languages. "I am Hanul, Guardian Intelligence of the Terra Defense Fleet. For thousands of years, humanity has watched over you from the shadows. Today, we reveal ourselves to protect you from the darkness that destroyed our home world." On Nexus Prime Station, Chairman Zephyrios stared at his communication screens in shock as the transmission reached every corner of galactic civilization. Emergency sessions were being called on dozens of worlds as species leaders tried to understand what they were hearing. Aboard the Starseeker, So Young worked frantically to help coordinate translations as Hanul's message reached species whose languages had never been encountered before. "The message is being broadcast in over 3,000 different languages," she reported to Captain Hyun-woo. "Some of these are from species we didn't even know existed." "How is that possible?" Hyun-woo asked. "Human colonies have been making contact with civilizations throughout the galaxy," Yoonji explained, monitoring the communication channels. "We've been studying and cataloging every species we could find, learning their languages and cultures." Hanul's broadcast continued, displaying holographic evidence that appeared in the skies above major population centers across the galaxy. The asteroid that threatened Vorani Prime 70 years ago was not deflected by natural forces, Hanul revealed. "Human ships guided it safely past your world while remaining invisible to your sensors. On the crystalline homeworld of the Vorani, citizens gathered in massive crowds to watch the holographic displays showing sleek human vessels subtly altering the asteroid's course. Counselor Vorani Crystal Voice stood among them, her body flickering with emotions she had never experienced before. "The plague that nearly destroyed the Sectar species was not cured by accident," Hanul continued. "Human medical teams worked for months to develop a treatment, then delivered it through intermediary species to hide our involvement. Ambassador Sectar Prime received these revelations aboard his battlecruiser, watching in stunned silence as evidence was presented of human scientists risking their lives to save his people. Every major war that was prevented through diplomatic intervention, every natural disaster that caused less damage than predicted, every technological breakthrough that seemed to come from nowhere, all were the result of human colonies working. quietly to protect and guide the younger species of this galaxy. The evidence was overwhelming. Historical records showed human intervention in hundreds of galactic events, always subtle, always hidden, always protective. Kaite was analyzing the data streams accompanying Hanuel's broadcast. "Captain, the amount of information being transmitted is incredible. They're showing detailed records of human involvement in galactic affairs going back thousands of years. Why reveal all of this now?" Hyunwoo asked. Hanuel seemed to hear his question. "We reveal ourselves because the enemy that destroyed Terra has returned in force. The Devourers cannot be defeated by any single species. They can only be stopped by the combined strength of all galactic civilizations, guided by humanity's advanced technology and strategic knowledge. New holographic displays showed the true scope of the approaching threat. Devourer fleets were entering Council space from dozens of different directions. Their ships numbered in the thousands, each one capable of destroying entire worlds. These creatures have consumed hundreds of galaxies," Hanuel explained. "They turn living worlds into empty husks, feeding on the life force of entire civilizations. They stopped their expansion only once in recorded history, when they encountered humanity's defenses around Terra. The displays showed ancient battle footage from Earth's final days. Human ships fought with desperate courage against impossible odds, their advanced weapons tearing through Devourer vessels while the planet was evacuated. Terra fell, but not before proving that the Devourers could be defeated," Hanuel continued. "The colonies that escaped carried that knowledge with them, spending thousands of years developing weapons and strategies for the day when the enemy would return. So Young was transfixed by the historical records. The evacuation of Earth was more organized than we ever imagined. They saved billions of people and transported them to prepared colony sites throughout the galaxy. The human diaspora was not a desperate flight," Hanuel confirmed. "It was a carefully planned dispersal designed to preserve human civilization and prepare for an eventual counterattack against the Devourers." Admiral Velthar's voice cut through the communication channels. His tone completely changed from the arrogant dismissal he had shown earlier. "Hanuel, are you saying that humanity has been preparing for this war for thousands of years?" "Exactly," Hanuel replied. "Every human colony has defensive capabilities beyond anything the current council possesses. Every major human settlement has been strategically positioned to protect important galactic civilizations. Every human citizen has been trained from childhood to fight the Devourers when they return. New contacts appeared on sensors throughout the galaxy as human ships emerged from hiding places that had concealed them for millennia. Massive defense platforms materialized near major alien worlds. Weapons arrays that had been disguised as asteroids or space debris revealed their true nature. The Guardian fleet emerging in this system represents less than 1% of humanity's true military strength," Hanuel announced. "We have been building and preparing while pretending to be weak newcomers to galactic civilization. Jae-min was piloting the Star Seeker through the growing fleet of human vessels, marveling at their size and sophistication. Captain, some of these ships are larger than entire space stations. The technology level is beyond anything I've seen. And every major human colony has similar fleets," Hanuel added. "The colony New Sol alone commands over 1,000 ships of this class. The research station Kimchi-1 has developed weapons that can destroy Devourer vessels from across entire star systems." The revelation was complete. Throughout the galaxy, alien species were coming to terms with the fact that the humans they had dismissed as primitive newcomers were actually their ancient protectors. "We did not seek dominion over other species," Hanuel explained. "We sought to guide and protect them while they developed their own strength. Today, that strength will be tested alongside our own." Chairman Zephyrios managed to find his voice for an official council response. "Hanuel, on behalf of the Galactic Council, how do we proceed?" "By working together as we should have from the beginning," Hanuel replied. Human technology and alien courage combined in defense of all life in this galaxy. The Devourers are approaching. We have approximately 2 hours to prepare our defenses. As the truth of humanity's role spread throughout galactic civilization, something remarkable began to happen. The fear and shock of the revelations transformed into hope and determination. For the first time in galactic history, all species truly understood that they were part of something larger than their individual civilizations. The Age of Secrets is ending, Hanul announced. The Age of Cooperation begins now. Together, we will show the Devourers that this galaxy will not fall as Terra did. This time, we are ready. The revelation had changed everything. Humanity was no longer the galaxy's youngest member. They were its oldest guardians, finally revealing themselves to lead the fight for survival. 6 months after the Battle of the Outer Rim, as historians would later call it, the galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have imagined. The Devourer invasion had been stopped, but not through the desperate last stand many had expected. Instead, humanity's careful planning and advanced technology had turned what should have been a massacre into a decisive victory for galactic civilization. Captain Hyun-woo stood in his new office aboard Nexus Prime Station, looking out at a view that still amazed him. Human ships moved freely alongside alien vessels, their crews working together on projects that would have been impossible just months before. His official title was now Galactic Liaison for Human Council Relations, but most people simply called him the Bridge Builder. The integration is proceeding faster than anyone predicted, reported So Young, who had been appointed Director of Galactic Archaeological Studies. She entered his office carrying a tablet filled with the day's discoveries. We've located 17 more hidden human colonies in the past week alone. Each one is eager to share their specialized knowledge with the Council species. What kind of specializations are we talking about? Hyun-woo asked, still getting used to the scope of human achievements throughout the galaxy. The colony knew. Daegu has perfected terraforming technology that can create habitable worlds in half the time current council methods require, So Young explained excitedly. The research station Bulgogi Labs has developed food production techniques that could end hunger on dozens of worlds. Hyun-woo shook his head in amazement. Bulgogi Labs, our ancestors really did love their food references. And the military. Station Taekwondo Base has created defensive technologies that make planets virtually impossible to invade, So Young continued. They're already helping 12 different species upgrade their homeworld defenses. The transformation hadn't been without challenges. Many alien species had struggled to accept that the humans they had dismissed as primitive were actually more advanced than their own civilizations. But the benefits of cooperation were so obvious that resistance had faded quickly. Kite entered the office, his engineer's uniform now bearing the insignia of the new Galactic Technology Exchange Program. Captain, I have the latest reports from the joint research projects. The Vorani crystalline technology combined with human energy systems has produced power generators 3 times more efficient than anything either species had developed alone. And the sector biological research combined with human medical knowledge has led to treatments for diseases that both species thought were incurable, added Yunji, who now served as Director of Interspecies Communications. The collaboration is working better than anyone hoped, Hyun-woo observed. But how are the alien leaders adjusting to the new reality? Surprisingly well, Yunji replied. Admiral Velthar actually requested transfer to a human-designed ship. He says working with our technology has taught him more about space combat in 6 months than he learned in 30 years of traditional council service. And Ambassador Sector Prime has been studying human cultural practices, So Young added, with a smile. He's particularly interested in Korean cuisine. Apparently he's become quite skilled at making kimchi. Kimchi? Hyun-woo laughed. The galaxy really is changing. Jaemin joined them, fresh from a patrol mission in the outer systems. Captain, the joint defense fleets are exceeding all performance expectations. Having human strategic knowledge combined with alien tactical creativity, has created the most effective military force in galactic history. More importantly, Yunji pointed out, we haven't had a single interspecies conflict since the Revelations. The knowledge that humans have been protecting everyone for thousands of years has created a sense of unity that never existed before. Through the office windows, they could see the newest addition to Nexus Prime Station, a massive research complex where humans and aliens worked side by side on projects that would benefit all galactic civilizations. The design perfectly blended human engineering efficiency with alien aesthetic sensibilities. Ha-Nul has been coordinating with other Guardian AIs throughout the galaxy, Kaite reported. They're sharing technological knowledge that had been kept secret for millennia. The pace of advancement is incredible. What about the other Devourer fleets? Hyun Woo asked. Intelligence reports suggest there might be more of them beyond our galactic borders. The Guardian fleets are establishing long-range monitoring stations, Jamin replied. If more Devourers approach our galaxy, we'll know about them months in advance, and next time, we'll be ready for them. So Young pulled up holographic displays showing the current state of galactic civilization. 17 human colonies have revealed themselves so far, each one bringing unique technologies and knowledge. The colony New Guangzhou has shared their research on faster-than-light communication. The outpost Soju Station has developed techniques for converting gas giants into usable resources. And the cultural exchange has been just as remarkable as the technological sharing, Yunji added. Human music is becoming popular on dozens of worlds. Korean traditional festivals are being celebrated by species that have never even visited Earth. The Vorani have created crystalline sculptures inspired by Korean temple architecture, So Young noted, and the Sektar have adapted traditional Korean martial arts for their physiology. Hyunwoo felt a deep sense of satisfaction as he reviewed the changes. Humanity spent thousands of years hiding their strength to protect others. Now we're using that strength openly to build a better galaxy for everyone. The Council has officially recognized humans as the senior members of galactic civilization, Kite reported. But more importantly, they've accepted the principle that advancement should be shared rather than hoarded. Chairman Zephyrios announced yesterday that the Council's new mission statement emphasizes cooperation and mutual protection, Yunji added. It's exactly what the human colonies have been quietly practicing for millennia. As the group reviewed the day's progress reports, Ha-Nul's voice joined their conversation through the station's communication system. Captain Hyun-woo, I have an update from the hidden colonies. 3 more settlements have decided to reveal themselves. The agricultural world New Jeollanam-do, the mining operation Kimchi Asteroid, and the research facility Hanbok Labs. Hanbok Labs? So Young asked. What do they research? Advanced materials. Science with a specialization in fabrics that can withstand extreme environments, Ha-Nul explained. Their work could revolutionize spacesuit design for every species in the galaxy. Jae-min grinned. From traditional Korean clothing to advanced space materials. Our ancestors really did preserve their heritage in the most creative ways. The pod integration process will continue for years, Ha-Nul continued. But the foundation has been established. Humanity has taken its rightful place as protectors and guides, while other species contribute their own unique strengths to galactic civilization. And the Devourers? Hyunwoo asked. Long-range scouts report no additional fleets in nearby galactic clusters, Ha-Nul replied. The destruction of their invasion force appears to have convinced them to seek easier targets elsewhere. This galaxy is now too well defended for their usual tactics. As the meeting concluded and his team departed for their various duties, Hyunwoo remained at his window, watching the bustling activity of the transformed space station. Ships from dozens of species worked together on construction projects that would have been impossible before the Revelations. Human technology guided alien creativity, while alien perspectives enhanced human understanding. The galaxy had learned that strength didn't come from dominance, but from cooperation. Humanity had shown that true power meant protecting others. rather than conquering them. And all galactic species had discovered that they were stronger together than any of them had ever been alone. The age of secrets was over. The age of unity had begun. And somewhere in the Outer Rim territories, an ancient ship called Taguk's Revenge continued its eternal watch, no longer hidden but proudly displayed as a symbol of humanity's true nature, not conquerors, but guardians of all life in the galaxy. The transformation was complete. Humanity had revealed itself not as the galaxy's newest members, but as its oldest protectors, finally taking their place in the light after millennia of service in the shadows.